Hello there. Due to the graphic nature of this episode, listener discretion is advised. Anyways, welcome to Strawberry Ink. Happy spooky season, happy spice season. Today, I have a pretty unique story for you. Today's story is about an 18-year-old girl from Florida whose life was cut short in a crime fueled by greed, deception, and violence. This is the case of Andrea Camps Lacayo. Andrea and her boyfriend Sergio Bourbon were just two people trying to make a sneaker sale. They were a couple. They had 3 pairs of Adidas Yeezys, high-demand sneakers worth nearly $935. The deal had been arranged over social media, with buyers being George Walton and Adrian Cosby. The plan seemed straightforward. Walton would try on the shoes, Bourbon would confirm the money was real, and everyone would walk away satisfied. But on April 7th, 2020, when Andrea and Sergio met with the supposed buyers, things turned violent. As Walton sat in the car, Adrian Crosby suddenly approached the driver's side. Without warning, he opened fire. Sergio Bourbon was grazed on the arm. Andrea, however, was shot in the abdomen and torso. Somehow, Sergio managed to drive away and rushed Andrea to the Jackson South Medical Center in Miami-Dade County, bleeding out while driving. She arrived unresponsive. Doctors tried everything they could, but Andrea died during surgery. Sergio, on the other hand, survived his injuries and was released from the hospital just days later. Andrea's family held a private funeral service on April 14th at the Woodlawn South Mortuary in Miami. She was buried at the cemetery there. This was a murder that occurred over a pair of shoes. Before reading this story, I had no idea a pair of shoes could cost that much, as I normally don't wear shoes that much. I usually wear either the open-toed or the simpler kind that I could just slip on and off. But I personally have never purchased shoes from someone on social media. I've used online retailers or gone to the store. That's actually what I recommend. So police wasted no time for this case. Just 4 days later, on April 11th, officers tracked down George Walton and Adrian Cosby, the shooters. They were tracked down to a residence in Homestead. A raid was carried out, and both suspects were taken into custody. They had been hanging out together at this residence. At the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's headquarters, investigators confronted them with social media evidence that tied and arranged them to the sneaker deal. Both confessed. Prosecutor Khalil Quinan charged them each with 3 felonies, severe ones: first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and attempted robbery with a firearm. During their bond hearing, Judge Mindy Glazer ordered that they remain in jail until trial. Both suspects eventually appeared before Circuit Judge Miguel de Lao, where they pleaded not guilty. They brought private defense attorneys into the case: Alan Greenstein for George Walton and Dustin Tischler for Adrian Crosby. Despite having a private defense, they remained in the Miami-Dade County Jail for all pretrial proceedings. Both Walton and Cosby faced juries made up of 6 members and 1 alternate. Judge DeLau denied motions to dismiss nor acquit, leaving it to the juries to decide whether they were guilty or not guilty. Walter's trial began in February 2024. Cosby's followed in October of that year. Both juries found these 2 suspects guilty on all charges. For Walton, the court imposed life in prison without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder, and the two other convictions were vacated. Cosby received 2 life sentences without parole, plus an additional 25 years for robbery. Neither suspect was granted a new trial. The judge did not allow that. Therefore, both appealed to the higher courts, and those matters remain pending. Today, George Walton is serving his time at the Suwannee Annex in Live Oak, Florida, while Adrian Cosby is incarcerated at the East Appalachia State Prison in Sneads. Andrea Camps Lacayo was only 18 years old. What began as a simple business transaction turned into a senseless killing. And while the justice system has spoken, the appeals process is still unfolding. This was a case of Andrea Camps Lacayo, and the story of two people who got the sentences they deserved. This has been Strawberry Ink. Thank you for listening, and please stay safe and have a good rest of your day.